broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Get it.
Hello, everybody. You are watching and listening to AFTERBUZZ TV Spotlight On. I'm Jason Ikeler, and joining me today is the guy we're listening to right now, Ryan Cabrera.
Yeah, dude.
So, new single House on Fire out on iTunes right now.
Yeah, it came out today, actually, this morning.
Very exciting.
It was.
I love the bridge of the song. That's like my favorite part.
The breakdown.
Yeah, when you break it down.
That's kind of
calling all the people.
That essentially, yeah, that's essentially like the meaning of the song is kind of underlined like in that area.
Yeah,
it's really what it's about. Just bringing everybody together to live life and live it on fire.
Live it on fire.
Fuego.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna rewind back to the days of you living in Texas. We'll go through your whole career.
Okay.
But what made you first want to get into music?
Honestly, it was Dave Matthews. I mean, I always listened to music. I love music, but I was like, when I was young, I was like hip hop. You know.
Okay.
Had listened to like metal, and then Green Day. Like I was into like the punk scene for a while, just kind of jumping around from scene to scene. And then when I saw him play for the first time, that's when I was like, I want to be that guy. I was like, I want to do that. So that was when I picked up the guitar and started copying his dance moves, and then started copying pretty much everything he did. I would just mimic him and be like, I just want to be exactly like him. And then, you know, along the way, you kind of figure out who you are and what kind of artist you want to be. And that was kind of what happened.
When you started writing songs, was it sort of as you were playing guitar you started writing, or how did that work?
Well, what was funny is when I started, I had a band. They were called Rubik's Groove.
Okay.
It's a mind-boggling groove for anybody who's wondering where.
YouTube that.
My keyboard player came up that he wasn't stoned at all when he came up with Rubik's Groove, and we were awful. And I'd written songs, but I never actually wrote them down.
Okay.
So every time we performed, it was always different. So I just made up the words, kind of as I went along. And then, as I got older, I actually started to get into the lyrics and depict songs apart and. Get into the songwriting process.
When did you write the first song that you would actually play for people?
It was a Battle of the Bands when I was, I'm going to say 19, 20 years old, right around there.
Is your family musical at all?
No, no. My brother plays a little bit, but not too much. No, my dad's from Colombia, South America, so that was always like the Latin side of music. You know, Christmas for me is salsa music.
Oh, okay.
And then my mom, she's like country, so.
And you're folky pop, I guess.
Dude, now, yeah. But at the time when I was growing up, kind of getting their influences, I was into like metal and just, weird stuff.
That's kind of cool though. So then, talk to me about how you decided to come to LA and pursue music that way.
I was playing a show at the Hard Rock, just an acoustic show, and this was when I was taking every single show I could. I was playing. Mexican food restaurants, I was playing, empty bars for like a bartender, just any kind of gig that I would be able to do, I would do. And so I got a gig at the Hard Rock somehow, and I was performing, and Joe Simpson at the time, he was in Texas. I don't know, maybe something for Jessica or whatever, but he saw me play and talked to me after the show. He's like, all right, you're going to move to LA? You're going to move in with me and my family? And we're going to take you, and we're going to go to the labels and all that stuff. And I was like, what? At the time, I just started like a, what do you call this? Not community college, but just, not like a college,
okay.
But, the kind that you don't have to go to class.
Online college?
Yeah, University of Phoenix crowd right here.
That. They're sponsoring this episode.
So I literally like a week later, I moved to LA.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even have a pair of shoes with me. I just had sandals and, a bag with some clothes. And I moved in with the Simpson family and just started singing for, all the labels. And Joe would take me around and bring me to the parties and stuff, kind of get me used to the LA scene.
That's cool.
It's pretty overwhelming, yeah. 1 week to be, in that school just playing acoustic gigs. So the next week, living with the Simpson family and being in the LA lifestyle is pretty wild.
So then they sort of featured you heavily in the reality shows too. Mm-hmm. Did that ever worry you that maybe you wouldn't be taken as seriously as an artist?
No, because I was pretty naive at that point.
Yeah.
I was so new to like the whole so in the reality stuff, like the Newlyweds was kind of like the start of like that kind of style of show, so we didn't really know what was to come of that. I was like, dude, this is gonna be terrible. This is gonna be boring as hell, just Jess and Nick, and it ended up being this huge show. And then, of course, MTV wanted to do Ashley's show, and that was right the period when me and Ashley started dating.
Yeah.
And we didn't know what was going to come of it. Really, it was just they followed us around, and it was fun. And that was when reality was actually real. And
okay, so it was actually real back then.
Then we just went off the cut. Like whatever we did, they just followed us.
Okay.
And so the things that we said, like, were actually like real stuff. Like when we fought, like we actually were fighting, and when we, would make out, we actually were making up. So it's not like some of the later shows where you have to choreograph.
You're told
all
how to
stuff.
fight.
Yeah.
And, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. So we didn't know what was going to cut. So for me, I was just like, oh, this is cool. It's just me and my girlfriend. But on the other side, all I really am is a musician. I didn't know that people would be like, oh, hey, you're the dude from that show. And
yeah.
It was really just kind of a whirlwind of weirdness. I was like,
I know, that's like a weird like blurb on your resume that you'll always be like from the Ashley Simpson show. It was very
straight, yeah. But I mean, I understand why, and it was cool because people got to get to know you. So it was the first time to where, like, I had On the Way Down just starting to do really well at radio when the show came out. So people got to know the artist instead of just the song. They'd be like, oh, I know Ryan. Like I saw, like, oh my God, they're I loved him or I hated him on the show, whatever. But it kind of put a face and a personality to that song, and then. It was weird, kind of, when the second single, when True came out, and True did well also and charted, for people to still be like, oh, hey, look, it's Ashley Simpson's
not a one-hit wonder.
Yeah, it was like, I'm like, wait, I have two, top 5 singles out right now, and you're wanting to talk about this reality show. Like, so you guys still together, all this stuff? I'm like, but I have 2 songs.
I want to play for you.
That's it's hard to do.
I saw you actually open on the reality tour with Jessica.
Yeah, that was
back in Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah,
it was a good show though. You did good.
It was fun. Yeah, that was like the introduction to, the crazies. Because at the time, like, the label wasn't really all like crazy about my like me or my record. Because the guy who signed me got fired like a month after.
Oh,
so. They were just like, whatever. So Joe, put me on tour with Jess, and the reaction from those shows was pretty crazy, because I would go, like, right after I played, I'd go hand out, I don't know if you remember, but I'd be like, I'm going to be at section 239. I have 300 CDs here, like samplers, and I'm going to go personally hang them out. And then literally, like, the entire amphitheater would like close to that thing, and you would just watch the whole place empty out. And because of that reaction, I think the label was like, oh wait,
we'll get behind
we love you. Yeah, we're like, no, we always knew you were going to be big. So because of that tour is kind of what helped them realize that this could be a big record.
That's cool. Mm-hmm. So then you've had sort of ups and downs with labels in your career, and now you're signed to a Capitol
Dynamite, Caroline.
And you're the first.
I am under the Dynamite label. Yeah.
Is that a lot of pressure?
No, because for me, like, the pressure for me was making the record, like making the best record, where, like, from front to back, I love every single song, I love every part of it, and all those details. That was really the pressure. And now that I finished, the pressure's off. Now I get to just have fun and do stuff like this, and actually get to perform the music, which is what I've been waiting for like 6 years now. To put out a record and actually get to play this new stuff for people instead of playing, an hour and a half of the old stuff.
Yeah, because the last full record was in 2008, right?
Yeah, 2008.
So when did you actually, because I'm obviously toured in that time and did the web series and stuff, when did you actually start writing the new album?
Well, I started immediately after. I mean, I'm kind of always writing.
Okay.
But it didn't get real till, I think, 2012. I wrote with Nathan Chapman out in Nashville.
Oh, wow.
And that was what sparked it. And it was fun because my manager at the time was like, okay, go to Nashville. You're going to write in one day with Nathan Chapman and then come back. He's like, come back with hit. I'm like, wait, what? I was like, I got one day. Like, I don't know. Usually it takes weeks and weeks and weeks. And we wrote, and I hit him, and I was like, all right, remember that song you wanted? I was like, I just wrote it. And this is the beginning of the rest of the record. So everything else from that point is scratch. I just got rid of all of it and just, kept writing and writing.
Okay. And so were you already with the new label at that point, or you were?
I was not.
Okay.
No. So I was just. I wanted to pretty much make the record, as opposed to going around and being like, "Hey, I'm making a new record. Who wants to get on board with this?" I wanted them to see nowadays, like, the way the music business is. People need to kind of get, like, force fed, what it is. Not too many people are left in the business with like the ears to say, okay, here's a really crappy demo that I did on my computer. I can hear the songs that hit through this demo. And unfortunately, there's not too many people who can do that anymore. So I wanted to make the record, make it sound as like a record that was done with biggest budget on the planet, and then turned it and be like, here it is. So here's the vision. So that's pretty much how we did it.
Do you feel, because when you started in the industry, people were still buying albums, and it wasn't all about you have to have the single do really well.
Yeah.
How do you approach that now differently since everything is online?
I've always been an album dude, and I always will be. For me, the last song is just as important as the single, just because as a fan of music and CDs, most of my favorite songs are track 11 and track 12, the songs that most people aren't going to hear. And the part that sucks is that people are so focused on just the single that they don't even know the rest of the record. They'll be like, oh my god, I love this artist, and it's like, okay, but they only know 2 songs from the artist. They'll be like, oh, it's one of my favorite new singers, but you don't really know who that singer is until you hear the whole album. So for me, it was important to make a full album, but it's also kind of cool because people could just pop in singles whenever they want. Like I could write, come out with 3 singles off this record and write something in between and be like, all right, guys, we should put this out because this is a really good song that I just wrote yesterday, record it tomorrow, and it be out in a month, which you couldn't really do before. You had to set up the record, and if you wrote something new that you wanted to put out quickly, you had to wait years before you were able to do it. So in that sense, I look at it not as like this sucks kind of thing, but I do like to encourage anybody, or at least our fans, be like, get the record, because the record is what really speaks about where I'm at now.
Okay. And tell me a little bit, I know you worked with Travis from We the Kings. Who else have you worked with on this album?
Travis Clark. Who else? I worked with Paul Blair, DJ White Shadow. He did the last 2 Lady Gaga records.
Oh, okay.
And Justin Gray he's done like Amy Winehouse, Joss Stone. I wrote a song with my buddy Evan Ross.
Oh, wow.
So we have a song together. He's going to do backgrounds on it. And then a couple of other people, like Blake Lewis, he was on Idol. He killed it. He came to do some backgrounds. I really called a lot of friends and brought him in, so they're all part of the record, which is pretty fun. And then me and Travis wrote that song together. I was like, dude, your voice sounds awesome. Sing on it. And he's like, okay.
That's cool.
Right. That was easy. I was like, awesome.
You guys sort of have, I know I saw you and Hunter Parrish have done stuff together too. You guys
me and Hunter
sort of got like this. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Me, Hunter, Ash, who was in the thing, Kevin McHale, who's going to do Glee.
Yeah.
We all grew up in the same little vocal camp.
Oh.
We all had the same voice teacher, and Jessica too.
Oh, that's cool. It's like a very
babies.
like Nashville scene in Hollywood.
Yeah, they're younger than me, so when they came out and to see like Kevin doing so well in Glee and then Hunter doing Weeds, I was like, what? I was like, they were just babies. Now they're all grown up.
So do you have plans to tour the album once it comes out?
2015 is. Okay. We're gonna focus mainly on House on Fire for a while and really do a lot of radio promo for that. And then me and another buddy of mine we're gonna go on a tour together.
Okay. And talk to me lyrically about what your stuff is based on. Are you something the songwriter where like something shitty happens and then you pick up your guitar and cry and write a song, or are you more like a studio writer?
More of a studio writer, but whenever certain scenarios go down, like in my life, which is very weird and dramatic, and a lot of silly things happen, I kind of note that I'm like, all right, that's a song. Okay. This record is mainly very happy and upbeat and positive, and I don't think there's. Well, I think there might be like 2 sad songs on the whole record. Okay. But other than those 2, it's a very like top down, party with your friends, get together, everybody just have a good time kind of record.
That's fun. So would you ever we have all these shows like The Voice or Idol, and if you hadn't gotten into the industry that way, do you think you would ever do a show like that?
Probably not. It depends. So do I have the knowledge that I have now of what the music business is like, or do I have no knowledge?
You've never been in the industry.
So I have no knowledge of what the business is like or what happens. Then, yeah, probably, but probably not. It's hard to say because that's not really what I do. I don't really, just sing other people's songs. For me, like the reason why I do this is because I get to put a piece of me in music, and that's kind of what driving other people. Because a lot of those times, you do the shows, and you don't really have a choice of what you do know, right away. Obviously, you know, at some point, you know, people get to the point where they can't. Like Kelly Clarkson, you know, now can pretty much do whatever she wants. Yeah. Because she proved herself. Daughtry also, but most of them, it's like, okay, here's your single. So that I would be already off the bat like, okay, no, I'm not singing someone else's song as my single because whatever, that's just not who I am. And then after that, it's like, okay, here's your record. We got these songwriters to write you a song, these songwriters to write you a song. Because I'd be like, well, what if I don't, you know, like this song, or what if I don't relate to the song, or those things. So in that sense, definitely not. Okay. But if you don't know any better, it's kind of like
you gotta get in.
Well, yeah, you know, and it's also very easy to get lost when the show's done because their attention span is so. Okay, what's the next? You know, the second those shows end, they're already, you know, you're already wondering, you know, who's going to be on the next season.
That's funny. And you've done a lot of like drama reality shows. I know you said the Ashley Simpson show was real. Then you were on The Hills. That was more of a. I think they've come out and said that show is fake.
Oh yeah. I was saying it while we were filming it.
Oh really? That's funny.
Oh yeah. Audrina she would want to kill me because I'd be on radio. Because for me, I didn't give. You know, I don't care. It's not my show. I was only doing it because she, you know, asked me, you know, like for a year and a half to do the show because they wanted me to do it, and I wouldn't. But then eventually, a long story how I got. They would kind of like film us from afar, slowly get it in there, and then MTV would come and be like, "Dude, we already have so much footage of you anyway." Yeah, I'm like, okay, that's a little creepy, but I just did. So eventually, I did, not knowing what I was really getting myself into.
Oh, okay.
So when we got there, and it was like day one of filming, for me, like I started, you know, just being myself and like say, you know, how me and Audrina really were in real life, and then they'd be like, cut right day one. Just
say that again.
They're like, no. Well, they'd be like, can you actually talk about blah 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 when they, you know, what happened this last time you guys were all hanging out? And I was like, well, first off, I don't even know who that is because at the time I didn't know. I knew Lauren just for even before the show, just from being friends, and Kristen also. But the other people on the show, I didn't even know. I didn't know their names. I didn't know really anything about them. So I was like, I don't really want to say anything about them because I don't know them and I don't even know what I'm talking about. But then we weren't getting anywhere. Yeah. So I'd be like, well, okay, well, we're going to be here all day. If, you know, we just need you to say one thing about this. And so I'd be like, okay, blah, 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 blah. And they'd be like, all right, perfect. And then we'd switch up scenarios, and then, you know, we'd have I'd show up to the house and be like, can you look a little more mad when you get to the door? And I'm like, what?
You're an actor now.
I'm like, wait, why? And they're like, it'd be great. It'd be great. I'm like, okay. So I'd have to pretend to be mad at the door, and then they're like, okay, can we film it? You happy this time? Because they didn't know what scenario they were going to go with. If they were going to do like, they break up with you, or if you break up with them, or which one. So they want options of, all the different scenarios, or you hate this person, no, you love this person. So they have different ways to, from what I learned later, how they wanted to, you know, spin the storyline. So definitely very different.
You've kind of like lived out the when reality TV was actually real up until now, where it's like so overproduced.
It's really hard to do now when you've done, you know, before, or if you have any sort of dignity at all and don't want to talk about people you don't know.
Well, that's why you write music, right?
Yep.
So tell everybody.
But we made sure too. We're like, okay, here's the deal. I'm in the studio. I'm working on your record, so I'll film those scenes. You guys can come to me whenever you want, and I'll film. You know, and we can film it there.
Oh, that's good.
You know, I was like, I want it to be for me. If I'm doing, I'm a musician. I'm not, you know, whatever. I don't know what most of the kids do there, but whatever.
I think that's the $1 million question.
Whatever that is, that's not me. You know, I'm a musician first and a singer. You know.
Would you ever consider? I know you write with a lot of other people, giving your songs away to other artists.
I write for other people sometimes. If it's a song that, you know, it doesn't fit, you know, my record. You know, most of the songs I write, like I'm still proud of, and I still love them as songs, but they just didn't necessarily fit the record. So yeah.
Okay. And I ask everybody this: what are your top 3 albums of all time?
Oh boy,
if we had to pick 3.
Well, I know one is Damien Rice.
Okay.
We'll do In the Lonely Hours, Sam Smith, the current one.
That's a good one.
And then we'll say, say Graceland.
Graceland? Yeah. Okay. I can actually kind of hear all of those influences in you, so that's good.
I love it.
Good thing. Okay, so you're going to play your new single.
Yeah.
It's called House on Fire.
Mm-hmm. Casa en Fuego. For our Spanish listeners.
Are we going to do a Spanish version of the album too?
Yeah, I should.
You might as well. Tell us a little bit about the lyrics and stuff behind the song.
So House on Fire is basically I mean, it's just a song about living life, you know, having a good time, you know, looking at, enjoying, you know, the moment while you have it, and not so much worrying about any sort of future, but just worrying about what you're doing at that moment, and enjoying other people, you know, like the bridge that, you know, calling, you know, the dreamers and all the disasters, calling all the ones who make the world turn faster. Just anybody. It doesn't matter, you know, what ethnicity you are, you know, what your personality's like, whether, you know, it's really about just being yourself and being happy with that, and using that to your advantage. You know, if you're dorky, you're dorky. Own that. Be a dork. If you're, the good looking, you know, and you're very, you know, personal, own that and do it and run with it. But, at the end of the day, we're all the same. Let's just live life.
Preach.
Yeah.
This is like church up in here.
Yeah.
Okay, this
Go,
is
sister, go.
Ryan Cabrera with House on Fire.
Hey, what's up? I'm Ryan Cabrera and the Shrimp Shack Shooters, my backup band. And this is House on Fire, which is out now on iTunes. So check it out. 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, hey! We can be legends for years to come. Yeah, they'll talk about us like we're the ones. We can be untouchable while we're young, and laugh about it when we're dead and done. You and me were automatic. You and me, we could say we had it all. We can burn hotter than a house on fire. Come on, let me see a fighter. Heaven, help me be a flame. Baby, we can burn, burn, burn faster than the world can turn, till we fade away. We can burn. Well, they can try to take us, we won't go. We could be the kings and queens of hope, when everything is bought and sold. In the end, you're the only thing that's gold. You and me were automatic. You and me, we could say we had it all. We can burn hotter than a house on fire. Come on, let me see a fighter. Heaven, help me be a flame. Yeah. Baby, we can burn, burn, burn faster than the world can turn, till we fade away. We can burn, we can burn, we can burn. Calling the angels, calling the broken, calling the ones who kick the doors wide open, calling the dreamers and all the disasters, calling the ones who make the world turn faster. We can burn hotter than a house on fire. Come on, let me see a fighter. Heaven, help me be a flame. Oh, oh, baby, we can burn, burn, burn faster than the world can turn, till we fade away. 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 Yeah. Yeah.
Good job. It's a fun song.
Thank you.
So, album tentatively next year.
Yes. Right now, it's we're hoping for like a second quarter release.
Okay.
So not You know, we're not positive.
Yeah.
It changes every. I remember when I made my first record. I made it when I was 21. It didn't come out till I was 23. I was like, what?
What goes on in the music business?
I was like, well, yeah, exactly. That was when I learned real quick.
Well, singles on iTunes now.
Yep.
Everybody buy that. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Hashtag House on Fire.
Hashtag House on Fire.
Yeah,
Hashtag that. And everything else is RyanCabrera.com.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks for coming in, man.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
It was fun.
If you guys want more from AfterBuzz, you can follow us at AfterBuzz TV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and you can find me at Jason Ikeler. Thanks for watching.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
Get it? See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.